What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to another Football Manager video. And well, today, as you watch this, if you're watching it the first day it's up, it's New Year's Eve. It's the 31st of December 2019. I hope this year's been a good one for you. I hope 2020 has lots of good stuff in store for you. I thought we'd do something different to mark the occasion. It's New Year's Eve, and well, we've gone to this date that you're watching this video, if you're watching it the day it's up, in FM15. So yes, we have holidayed forward 5.5 years to see how Football Manager 2015 thought this decade of football would finish. I hope you're going to enjoy this one. Thank you as well, before we get too far into this, for your crazy support here on the channel. It's been just mind-blowing, and I can't thank you guys enough for how much love and support and everything else you've been showing here on the channel throughout the year, but especially since FM20's launch. Anyway, there's one thing that's on this screen here, and it's definitely jumping out at you, and it's the thing that I first want to click on, just to keep things kind of so you know. I've not seen what happens yet. I am going on this learning adventure with you, but England won the World Cup, ladies and gentlemen. I realise this doesn't feed well into the narrative that people sometimes like to peddle, that England are always overpowered in Football Manager. Of course, in the Russia World Cup, England did reach the semi-final. France won the whole thing. Here we can see the two sides met in the final. If we have a look at the match report here, Leighton Baines got man of the match as England won 3-0. Oxlade-Chamberlain, Harry Kane and Danny Sturridge with the goals. You can see the starting 11s for each team here. So for England, it was Joe Hart, and then, oh my gosh, that's a corker of a back four. They've got Callum Chambers, Phil Jagielka, Stephen Corker. Where is Stephen Corker now? I thought he was way older than 28, but apparently he's only 28. He's playing for Manchester United here. He's doing quite well for himself. Leighton Baines at left-back. James Milner and Will Hughes in the centre of midfield. Raheem Sterling, Sturridge, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Kane up top. The bench, who have they got here? Danny Welbeck, Luke Shaw. I mean, oddly enough, it's not that weird, although there's a certain player here who we're not going to acknowledge. But they do have Ryan Shawcross as well. I always thought Ryan Shawcross was going to play for England, and I guess that was down to this game. But yes, you can see here, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Harry Kane and Danny Sturridge with the goals. On the French side of things, they've got Lloris in goal. They've got Cochia. I'm not going to be honest. I don't know this guy at all. Apparently he played for Lille many a year ago. He was a big signing for Lille for £1.3 million. You can let me know what became of him, because I've not heard of him. Mangala and Umtiti at centre-back. Koscielny at left-back, I guess that is. Kondogbia, Matuidi in the midfield alongside Schneiderlin. And then up front they went with Lacazette, Griezmann and Gamero. Where is Griezmann playing here? He's playing for PSG. Who's he wanted by? Is it going to be Barcelona? No, it's Napoli. But he's on pretty good money. So, yeah, England won the World Cup. Who else did stuff here? Let's have a look at all the different stages. Can we look at just a branch, like a table, a tree? This is what I want. I want a tree. Right, so England won. They beat Denmark in the semi-final, and then Denmark and Australia finalists, or semi-finalists. That's quite an achievement. England beat Uruguay, Denmark beat Mexico, France beat Croatia. So Croatia are actually tipped to do quite good things here. You can see Kovacic listed as their big key player. They're 12th in the world rankings as well, so the game wasn't that far off there. In truth, what about in the groups? Were there any shocks here? So Russia and Uruguay made it out of Group A. I'm trying to spot any shocks. Belgium, I guess that's a shock. They finished third in a group containing Brazil and England. That's a group of death if I've ever seen one. You can see here some of their key players. They've got Hazard, who is still at Chelsea. Lukaku playing for Man City. That's a weird one. Company at Manchester City as well. Let's have a look through some of these players, I guess. So Eden Hazard, just as you'd expect, absolutely phenomenal. De Bruyne, not too bad either, of course. If we think back to 2015, he was only playing for Wolfsburg back then. Chelsea had kind of deemed him surplus to requirements. And, well, looking at things here, he's done pretty well, hasn't he? I guess the researcher for De Bruyne knew something that Jose Mourinho didn't when he let De Bruyne go back to Germany. They've got Lukaku up top for Manchester City, who, to be fair, he's a very good player for. He's on a lot of money a week. He was signed from Everton for £41 million. And that goal-scoring record for Lukaku is absolutely nuts in the Premier League, that we'll come on to shortly. Vincent Kompany still playing for them, aged 33. He's not returned back to Belgium just yet. Courtois playing for Chelsea. And Origi, of course Origi was going to be here, playing for Swansea. I'm going to go out on a limb and say he probably doesn't have a Champions League winners medal here. So yes, that's kind of what's going on there. What about major nations? Now, I should of course disclose this video is going to be a longer, ramblier one. There is going to be stuff I miss. So if you spot anything that looks weird or bizarre, let me know about it in the comments. I'm sorry that I will not spot everything. Football Manager is just a wall of information. So when it's a wall of information that I'm not entirely familiar with, it's a bit of a challenge. You can see here the best teams in the world. So Argentina, England and Germany, the top three. France then in fourth, Spain in fifth. Then you've got Brazil, Uruguay, Italy, Mexico and Portugal rounding off the top group. Let's have a look. Is Cristiano Ronaldo still playing? I mean, you have to assume he is, right? I mean, he's got to be. Where are you, Cristiano? He's 34 and he's still playing for Real Madrid. And to be fair, he's very blooming good. Wow, I guess if we're going to look at Ronaldo, we should also look at Messi. I feel like these two players are players who this decade will be known for. You can see just how good Messi is here. I mean, not quite as good a stats as he has in real life, but I feel like the match engine at this point in Football Manager could never really account for just how crazy Ronaldo and Messi were. They've not got chins, but we'll ignore that. I have just copied over my FM20 graphics into FM15, so I guess problems were going to happen somewhere. You can see there are tributes there. If we look at the overview, kind of interesting actually. I think Ronaldo has started to tail off, and actually in this here, he's worse than he is actually in FM20, which is obviously kind of interesting. He's got 20 off the ball though and 20 determination. He's never left to go to Juventus. He's had Los Blancos in his heart forever, unlike, I guess, in real life. If we just go back to the world overview, let's have a look at major clubs here. So Real Madrid, Chelsea, Bayern, Barca, Atleti, Juventus, Liverpool. Any odd ones here? I guess having Wolfsburg and Werder Bremen that high would be considered odd. The best players in the world, Messi, Ronaldo and Neymar, who is still at Barcelona and never made the move to PSG. I guess he never got injury prone either. You can see Coutinho still playing for Liverpool. Suarez at Barcelona. Was it really 5 years ago that Suarez moved to Liverpool? Actually, it was longer ago than that. It's weird. In my head, there is certain points that I remember in football over the last decade that I don't remember exactly when they happened, and for whatever reason, Luis Suarez is just one of those. Interesting, Oscar never made the move to China. Hung out, played for Chelsea, and he's been pretty good for them over the year. Right, we've had a look through the general overview of the international stuff. I know a lot of people probably want to know more about the individual leagues. Let's take a look at the history of the Premier League over the last 5 years, if I can find my way to the Premier League screen. You know what? We'll go via Liverpool's profile here. So, at the halfway point of the 2019 season, and at full disclosure, I'm recording this video before Christmas because I'm away on holidays and visiting family and stuff. So I don't know exactly how things are going to lay out here. But Leicester aren't in the Premier League, but Reading are 5th, and Swansea are 9th, and Manchester City are 8th, which ain't that great by their standards. You can see it's only been this year that England's become the most reputable league. Manchester United are top. Who is the big performer for them? Their key player apparently is Januzaj. I mean, he's doing quite good at Sociedad in real life, but for him to be key player is interesting. Falcao is at the club. I guess Falcao transferred in 2015. Yeah, he did. So not only did he serve his loan, he was then signed and kept at Manchester United, where, well, to be honest, in FM15, he's pretty blooming good, the 33-year-old. Anyway, if we go back to the Premier League here, you can see the other top goal scorers. Lukaku, Danny Welbeck, one of the top goal scorers. Oh, what a player he could have been without all his injuries. And also, interesting, Luka Jovic. So, of course, the Real Madrid striker was only, 16 or 17 when this game kind of came out. Football Manager knew. Football Manager knew that Jovic was going to be destined for greatness. And to be fair, Jovic for me was always one of those must-sign players in FM15, along with Carlos Fierro. What a player this guy is. He's playing for Reading. Oh, I know for some of you, you're not going to recognise this guy at all, but for years in Football Manager, he was just absolutely insane. I mean, you can see here, he got 21 goals in a season for QPR in the Premier League. You used to be able to sign him from Chivas for about £7 million first season. Then him and Luka Jovic, they carried me through many a year. Anyway, you can see here Steven Corker has one of the best average ratings, along with Juan Mata, who has 9 assists to his name. Still doing his thing at Manchester United, looking very, very good as well. You kind of forget now how long Mata's been at Manchester United. Ozil doing very well too for Arsenal. He's still in the game. He's not been removed, which I guess is a plus for him. Arsenal down in 4th. I guess that's where they belong. Let's have a look at past winners, shall we? So, massive spoiler, FM15 didn't predict that Leicester were going to win the league. Although the future that's predicted kind of hurts a little bit as a Liverpool fan. Yes, you can see here, in 2014, Manchester City won the league with Liverpool finishing 2nd and Chelsea finishing 3rd. And the next year, it was the exact same. In 2016, Liverpool and Man City swapped places. Then it went City, Chelsea, United. Then Liverpool, United, Chelsea. And then Everton have randomly decided to get in on the action. Who is Everton's key player? It's Ross Barkley, who, to be fair, he's pretty good, isn't he? You can see Everton are in the Europa League. We'll have a look at that in just a second. Don't you fret. If we just look through past league seasons, did anyone ever set an 100-point season? I mean, the answer, somewhat unsurprisingly, is no. No one even got to 90. That is one thing that in the last 5 years, what was considered exceptional in terms of a points total was probably high 80s, whereas now, 5 years on from 2015, the last couple of years, the winners of the Premier League have been getting to 100 points or just shy of 100 points. The idea that 97 points wouldn't win you the league is kind of just crazy. Where is Leicester? I mean, I know it's in Leicestershire. I mean the football club, to be clear. So they are the bottom of the Premier League. I didn't even spot that past league position. So they got promoted, and to be fair, they finished 8th one year. They didn't quite win the league. They've got Dougie Freeman as their manager. Danny Drinkwater never left. He never threw away his career, so he's got that going for him. Kramaric is considered their key player. To be fair, the Croatian is a pretty good player in the Bundesliga right now. And, they've got continental reputation, but no Premier League winners' medals. Where is Jamie Vardy? I know this is a very weird thing to want to search, but I want to know. He's manager of Accrington Stanley. He's 32 and he stopped playing. When did he retire? He retired aged 31. I mean, I'm assuming he never played for England. No, he's not even a good manager. Where are Accrington? Do I have their league loaded? He's 5th in League 2 with them. I know people are going to want to look through all these different leagues. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flick through them here. Obviously, I could go through League 2, I could go through League 1 and all that stuff, but we would be here for 24 hours. I will try and remember to put a save game down, below for you guys to check out. Can we discuss the fact Football Manager knew that Bolton were going to go into administration this season? That might be the most crazy thing it predicts. They got minus 15 points if I'm not mistaken. But 5 years ago, Football Manager predicted that Bolton would go into administration in League 1. I mean, my mind that's crazy. Should we just stop? We're not going to just stop the video now, but that is kind of nuts. Anyway, how is the Championship looking? Any unlikely teams here? I guess Norwich and Villa are both in the Premier League now. They're both doing pretty well. Who is Norwich's star player? It's Fernando Pacheco. Russell Martin, who is now... who's he manager of now? MK Dons. I don't know why I know that. Glenn Hoddle is their manager. He decided not to be a TV pundit. He decided to stick it out in the game. Where's he been prior to Norwich? He was at Sunderland, and then, he decided to hop over to Norwich for a little bit and just do his thing. And to be fair, he's done okay at Norwich so far. They've been on the onwards and upwards, and they are top of the league for the new year. Watford not doing so well. Neither are Bournemouth. Bournemouth in the relegation zone. Funnily enough, there is no Eddie Howe here. Where is Eddie Howe? He's manager of Swansea, who we've already seen a top half in the Premier League in this alternate universe. So things not looking that great there. I'm looking out for any weird players here. I guess Makeda. What happened to Makeda? I remember he scored that, was it a back heel for United when he came on off the bench for Ferguson's side, and that was like the only goal he ever scored for United. Had that happened at this point? It had. Apparently that was I think that was 2009. Maybe it was this season. Was that really 10 years ago? Oh, as I said, there's certain stuff in my footballing timeline that's just not lining up correctly. Anyway, you can see the rest of the league here. If we look at the season preview, is this the Star 11? I guess it is. It's all cut off. So you can see Rulli is in goal. So does he still play for Sociedad in goal? Antos on a postcard. Luke Shaw, they've got playing for Manchester United, though. I mean, again, I'm going to applaud Football Manager for the weird stuff it gets right. Wait, no, had they signed... They'd signed him in real life, Jack. You're an idiot. Right, let's move on. Let's move on. Who else is in their team? Luke Shaw already signed for United 10 years ago. I mean, Mustafi's playing at centre-back for Chelsea, so that's a weird sight. Sergio Busquets, tearing up for Man City. Is Pep their manager? No. Temer... does anyone know this man? He looks like a Pep Guardiola impersonator. I need to find out more about this Georgian gentleman. I'm now Googling him. Apparently he is manager of... Oh my word. I'm going to paste in the team name in-game because I've never heard of them. That is the team he's in charge of. The game doesn't know this club exists. Apparently they're a Cypriot futsal, volleyball and football club. But in this universe, he became Man City manager. How did he achieve this? I mean, there you go. Apparently he managed CSKA Moscow at some point, and he did well enough with them that he earned the City job. You can see Christian Eriksen is considered their key player, which is very, very interesting. They have tailed off in the last couple of years, although they did win the league for a few years. Who else is in this Dream 11? So John Stones, interesting. Made it move to a slightly different Manchester club in this universe. How much did they sign him for? 23 million. I mean, they got a bargain there. Raheem Sterling still playing for Liverpool. That hurts a little to see. He's pretty good, though. Di Maria still at United. Oscar in the centre of midfield, we've already looked at. Coutinho out on the left. Never forced that move to Spain. Never ruined his legacy. Kept things going. You can see here, players to watch. So these are kind of the best two players for every club. So if you're wondering who the best players were for the team that you're a fan of, you can have a look at them here. Tom Ince of Leicester. That's an interesting one. Moussa Sissoko doing pretty well. Zach Clough. He was a wonder kid in FM for years until quite recently. I don't think he's quite as good anymore. Origi and Mane both playing for Swansea is an interesting one, isn't it? He moved to Swansea for 18 million. I'm going to assume he's not up for any Ballon d'Ors. Let's have a look. What happened to Salah? As a biased Liverpool fan, I now want to know what happened to Salah. Where is he? He's playing for Hoffenheim. I'm trying to think. In 2015, he signed for Chelsea and then had been loaned back. So this was kind of a pretty bad year to start to see how well Salah would do. Just because he was probably a little bit on the down after being, a bit of a flop at Chelsea in his year there. Anyway, Alex Song as well at Reading is an interesting one. Right, Paul Lambert won Manager of the Year. I mean, answers on a postcard. I don't even know what to say about that one. Jordan Rhodes as well, top goal scorer. Jordan Rhodes of Newcastle. I mean, bizarre. Football Manager's weird, isn't it? Right, let's have a look at some other leagues. I've lost my mind. In fact, you know what? Before we look at other leagues, because I have got some other leagues loaded, I can show you the leagues I have loaded here. So we've got France, Germany, Italy and Spain to go through. But before we go through those, let's have a look at the European Championships and the Champions League and the UEFA Cup. So, Champions League winners, the game predicted. Chelsea, Barcelona, Chelsea, Dortmund, Real Madrid. I don't know what to make of that. I mean, you can make of it what you will. Chelsea, 2 times winners. To be fair, it predicted Real Madrid beating Liverpool in a Champions League final. It just got the year wrong by a year. So give it some credit. Dortmund beat Manchester City at Wembley. I mean, it's not done terribly, has it? There's some weird bits where it very nearly lines up with reality. Here's the predicted first knockout round of the Champions League. You can compare it to real life and tell me who's missing and who's not here. I mean, where are Real Madrid v Juventus, Barcelona v Wolfsburg. I'm not seeing an Atalanta here. That's all I'm going to say on the matter. Although Olympiacos, you're living it up. You can see here Montoya, apparently one of Barcelona's best players. Thomas Muller as well. He's still doing pretty well, the 30-year-old at Bayern Munich. How did Harry Kane end up at Liverpool? When did that happen? £29 million and he's been a flop. I don't know what to make of that. He's made a few appearances for England, which is kind of surprising because 5 years... I'm trying to think, would FM 2015, was that when Kane was held in high regard? Or was that still kind of when he was breaking out as Spurs' leading man? It was either a year prior or after he'd had his first really good season. So that's the Champions League. Let's have a look at the Europa League, where Everton have won it 3 times out of 5. Of course they have. Of course they have. They beat Dortmund in the final. Tottenham did finish runners-up of a European competition. It wasn't the 2019 Champions League final. It was the classic 2016 Europa League final versus Everton. Again, there's going to be some stuff here that you guys spot that I miss. But Bernardo Silva, still at Monaco. He's very, very good, to be fair. So he never made the move to Man City. Axel Witsel playing for Napoli. How good is he, the young Belgium? I say young. He's not young anymore, is he? He's 30, bless him. Still pretty blooming good at the game, though, isn't he? Carlos Fernandez was top goal scorer. I don't know who this guy is. 23 years old. Played for Sevilla back in 2015. Please let me know who Carlos Fernandez is and where he is now. I feel like Spanish football isn't my area of speciality. That's the excuse I'm going to go with. I'm noticing Vidra here, who's a familiar name. He's playing for Sampdoria, and to be fair, he's done quite well. He was signed from Watford. I have good memories of Vidra. He once carried me. I think it might have even been in this Football Manager, to be fair to him. Gabriel Barbosa, who, of course, at the time of you watching this video, will have played in the Club World Cup final thing against Liverpool. I have no idea what that result's going to be because it's not happened yet. It's actually happening later today as I record it. But he's playing for Bayern. He was one of the big wonder kids of this year as well. You can see just how good he's been for Bayern. He's not a bad little striker, to be fair to him. Right, let's move on to some of the nations, shall we? So we'll start off with Ligue 1, where past winners, I'm expecting a PSG whitewash, although looking at the league table here, I was going to say maybe it's not going to happen. PSG have only played 15 games. Right, past winners. I mean, there you go. The reign of dominance didn't last that long. You can see here, PSG won it a couple of years, then Monaco won it, Bordeaux won it, Marseille won it. It looks like Ligue 1's been a fairly competitive league over the years. Otamendi is PSG's key player. I mean, who is in PSG's 11? They've got Memphis Depay. I mean, of course they have. Laurent Blanc is their manager. They've got Depay. Let's have a look, shall we, at the season preview and the best 11. So Bernardo Silva on the right. Lacazette still playing for Lyon. I mean, I respect his loyalty to his club. Kevin Strootman. Assad. Who is Assad? Yamil Assad. Again, don't think I've heard of this guy. Maybe I have. Maybe these players are super obvious to you. Feel free to mock me in the comments, but I don't recognise him. Anyway, Umtiti and Otamendi at centre-back. Who's Kraneviter? Again, not a household name of football. Was playing for River Plate at the start of the game. Was this the year when a load of Argentines were really overpowered? I have no idea. Ricardo Rodriguez at left-back's a pretty good shout, to be fair. Very good player. You can see some of the key players for all the different teams here. I'm just wondering if there's any odd names that we're going to spot. Ruffier still playing for Saint Etienne. Knockout, how's he getting on? Who are you playing for? You're playing for Guingamp. I mean, so I guess... I was about to say, so I guess you didn't get a Premier League winners medal. Was Knockout at Leicester when they won the league? I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know. I'm trying to see if there's any other players here that I recognise. Varane, didn't see him, but he's playing also there. Maupay, not playing in the Premier League. He's playing for Toulouse. He's 23 though. He's still very young. It's weird actually. Maybe we should have a look through if there's a way I can search for players under the age of 23 who aren't regens just to see where they ended up. Right, let's move on to the next league. And I'm sorry for those of you who are fans of European leagues, but I just don't know enough about the leagues to be able to provide you with an amazing insight for them. You know, I want to look through these leagues and see what happened, but there's probably some household names that you're spotting that I'm not familiar with at all. Anyway, on to the Bundesliga, and unsurprisingly, it's been Bayern Munich and, well, a little bit of Dortmund sprinkled in for good measure, although Bremen have done pretty well in recent years. You can see as the season currently lies, Leipzig not doing quite so well. Leverkusen doing pretty well. Where are Dortmund? Oh my gosh, Dortmund are in 11th. Who's their manager? Is Klopp still... Klopp is still their manager. So he never went to Liverpool. He's just been chilling out in Germany. Although, if they continue to sit in 11th, he's probably going to be sacked sooner rather than later. You can see Maximilian Meyer, what a youngster he was in terms of his potential in FM15. Of course, does he still play for Crystal Palace? I think he does. Moritz Leitner as well plays for Norwich in real life. He's playing for Cologne here, and he's doing work with assists. Let's have a look at the season preview and the best 11 here. So Werner out on the left. I mean, Werner that polygon looks pretty similar to how he looks in FM20, to be fair. They've got Stindl as the key striker in the league. Is the standard for strikers much lower? I'm not sure. Neuer in goal. Lahm has not retired. He's 36 years old and still playing right back. Hummels hasn't gone to Bayern in this save game. He's doing his thing here. 20 marking. He's not bad, is he? They've got Jerome Boateng. Højbjerg, who of course has ended up at Southampton. He actually has just moved to PSG. So that's awkward. But he was in the German first team of the year last year. So that's something. Javi Martinez did quite well. He's still playing for them. Who is Mark Stenderer? I don't know this guy. I don't know what to tell you. He looks okay. Let's have a look here. Any names I recognise? Jack Wilshere is playing for Freiburg. I mean, it's not quite West Ham, but maybe the injury's got the worst of him. He's actually injured. It's not even funny, is it, really? But he is injured. Marco Reus still playing for Dortmund. Kagawa doing work for Bremen. Let's have a look through this list. Any other names I recognise? Nicolas Sula never made the move to Bayern Munich. I mean, he still could. He's only 24, but in this current timeline, he hasn't. I'm sure there's other players you guys can recognise here. Right, on to the next nation. I have to remember how to navigate through this Football Manager because it's all different. Right, Syria, Juventus. Zebra, still listed as a major club. Let's see. I hope they didn't win the league every year. They've won it all but 1 year. Sam Allardyce is them. I mean, this is what dreams are made of. This is why I do this. This is why this video exists. It's to find stuff like Sam Allardyce managing a Juventus. I mean, how long has he been there? How long is he joined in 2018? So he's quite a recent addition. He managed Everton for a little bit. Never had a stint at England. How long has he been there right now? He's been there a year. How are Juventus doing in the league? Let's have a look at the league table. They're in second behind Napoli, who have a game in hand. So his job could be at risk. Berardi seems to be just the god player. He was very good in this year of Football Manager 2015. You can see there he's kind of just Juventus's all-round top goal scorer. Of course, they've also got De Bruyne as well. Eric Torres, he was another Mexican player, similar to Carlos Fierro. If you got Eric Torres and Carlos Fierro, you had like... I'm trying to think of like the Holy Trinity, but when there's only two of them. It's like tomato ketchup and mayonnaise. You mix them together, you've got a lovely sauce for your burger. The burger's your team. Eric Torres, I think he'd be the mayonnaise. You guys can let me know what you think. I don't know where I'm going with this. Wellington Nem, what happened to Wellington Nem? Does he still play for Shakhtar? I don't know. He's a player who I think he must still play for Shakhtar. I can't recall seeing him play that many times live. But he's doing his thing. You can see here the rest of the league. Let's look at past winners. So Roma won it the 1 year when Juventus didn't. Napoli finished runners-up a number of years. And then, Roma slipped down a little bit. Martin Jol managing them. I don't even know where Martin Jol is anymore. I'm now worried he's died. I hope he hasn't. He hasn't died, has he? That would be awkward. I don't think he has. If he has, I mean, no disrespect. De Rossi... 36 years old. He's not playing for Boca. He's playing for Roma. Look at those mentals. You could say they're mental. No. Okay. Can we discuss Roma? What is this? You won the league having finished 9th the year before. That is weird. That is weird. Right. You can see the rest of Syria here. Let's move forward to Spain, where Pep Guardiola is the Spain national team manager. So if you were wondering where Pep is, we found him. Let's have a look at how things are looking in La Liga. Granada in second. Fair play to you. Barcelona running away with the league and unbeaten. Past winners. it's kind of the usual suspects. You will have to excuse the fact that Celta have my Let's Play team in FM20's badge. If you want to see that, Red Bull Barna, little shameless plug in there right now. You can go check it out if you want to see a bit of a fantasy database. But you can see here, Barcelona leading the way. Highest average rating is Ronaldo, followed by Messi. Sergio Samper, what a player this guy was. I mean, he still is. But in this year, a Football Manager, and I think FM13 was when he was really, really good. I had him on my FC United and Manchester playthrough, which was my first ever Let's Play on this channel. He was just absolutely insane back in the day with Samper. You can see the rest of their team here, though. He's got the most assists, to be fair. Velios, I'm not familiar with you. Aspostos, let's just not do the name because I'm going to butcher it. Not familiar with him, but he's scoring goals for fun at Osasuna, so fair play to him. We'll just call him Velios. Why did I try the first name? Aspas is at Sevilla doing his thing. I mean, they're doing pretty well, aren't they, in Spain? But it's not entirely unpredictable. I'm trying to think of what else there is to go through. I know some people, and there'll be the Portuguese fans who say, show the Portuguese league. I've not got the Portuguese league loaded, and I know there's going to be other people who say, show us who won MLS, show us who won this. Because I've not got them loaded, they're not going to be very accurate. But I'll show you a few that I know people will ask for. Well, there you go. MLS had no past winners or anything happen in it. I guess in this year's Football Manager, if you didn't have the league loaded, maybe it didn't show past winners. I mean, you got some past winners here. Benfica and Porto fans, you can celebrate. If you're a Braga fan, you came third in 2018. There's your silver lining. But Marco Silva's their manager. That's interesting. I realised we didn't really look at the best 11s in Italy and in Spain. Let's take a quick look at those. Just because I know I showed them for the other leagues. You guys can let me know if there's any weird and wonderful players you see. Vasquez, Dybala, Romero up top. Kovacic, De Bruyne. I mean, Kovacic, he's pretty good, isn't he? The game knew. Damn, he didn't know he'd go to Chelsea, but it knew he'd be pretty good. Liechtensteiner. Who is Orozio? I don't know Orozio. Please let me know if you know of Orozio. Raphael in goal? Is it bad? I recognise the name Raphael, but I'm not. There's some of these names that I'm seeing, and it's like, I know this name. I don't know where I know this team from. I couldn't tell you anything about them. Then there's other players that I see, and then I remember something from a past FM save, and I get that confused with reality. You can see here, Jorginho playing for Napoli looks pretty good. Just to look through the other kind of key players. Pogba is still at Juventus. I have no doubt that Sam Allardyce is getting absolute kind of bits out of him. I don't know what that sounds wrong, doesn't it? Bruno Fernandez is playing for Atalanta. Pretty good player in this game. Rugani at Milan. Did they sign him from Juventus? They did for 1.9 million. Bargain, if you ask me. You can see like the rest of the team here and the rest of the players. I'm sure there's some players here that you spot that are funny little ones. Let's take a quick look at Spain, shall we? We've still got to look at the European Championship. I know Portuguese fans are desperate to see that. Don't worry, we will get to that in just a second. Let's have a quick look at La Liga and the season preview with the best 11 from the previous year. So Volland, interestingly enough, playing for Real Madrid. Up top, you've got Luis Suarez and Aspas. At the back, Daley Blind at left back, Pantic at right back, ter Stegen in goal. Obviously, he's been here ever since he was signed from Gladbach, and he's doing okay, although it seems like everyone is injured in this save game. Everyone who I click on feels like they're injured. I'm sure that's confirmation bias. Odegaard is at Real Madrid and considered one of their key players. I mean, he's developed here. Was this the first year where Odegaard was in? I guess it was. I think he might have even been patched into this game. I'm trying to remember. Was 2015 the year where they added him in after release? It might well have been. You can see some of the other players here as well. Milik playing for Celta. Koke and Sul both still at Atleti Laporte. Still playing for Bilbao alongside Illarramendi. Is Illarramendi still at Atletico Bilbao? I'm not sure. Jimmy Rod, James Rodriguez, still at Real Madrid as well. Right, I mean, you can see some of the other players here. It's weird. I know for some of you, you probably want to see me go through all the screens really slowly, and for other people, you want to just see me breeze through everything really quickly. It's an impossible balance. Right, let's look at the European Championship, which was won by Russia ahead of the World Cup, where they then didn't do quite so well. So yes, I'm sorry to Portuguese fans. Can we look at the past event? Can we look at it? Here we go, 2016. I want to look at a tree to the final. So Russia v Ukraine in the final. If I speak, I'm in big trouble, so we're not going to discuss that one. But you can see Portugal and the Czech Republic finishing, well, third and fourth. They probably had a playoff, but who cares? The Ukraine beat Belgium on penalties. Portugal, I mean, to be fair, they got to the semi-final. They knocked out Austria, Serbia, and the Czech Republic. There is a weird collection of teams here. You can see France, England, Croatia, Spain, Germany, and Italy were all knocked out in the second round. And you would have probably favoured them all to get through. Greece couldn't quite repeat their heroics of years gone by. If we look at all the groups, of course, this is before the format change as well, right? There are more teams in the Euros in real life now compared to this. I want to say that. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Or actually, no, maybe it did have the format because a few third-place teams have qualified, including Portugal, who only scraped through on 3 points. I don't like the idea that a team can get 2 points and qualify. Maybe that is what happened in real life. I can't remember. But yeah, the Netherlands didn't make it out of the groups. That's the big shock, really. Seems like with so many teams going through that all the teams were going to get through. But Russia won it all, to be fair to them. Have they got anyone particularly good? They've got Georgy Shetnikov. I mean, he's not a bad little fullback. Akinfeyev. I feel like this guy's just a timeless player. He's been in Football Manager as long as I can remember and always been quite good. He's still quite good here. You can see some of the other key players. As I said, I'm sure there's players here you'll spot and bits you'll spot. Like the fact that Slavan Bilic is their manager. I love that. That's impressive, isn't it? Right, let's have a look at awards in the world. Because I know this is what everyone wants to see. The world goes... Sorry. I don't know what to say. Is the World Golden Ball the Ballon d'Or? Or is that World Player of the Year? I think it's the Golden Ball is the unlicensed name for the Ballon d'Or. Leighton Baines, ladies and gentlemen, has won the Ballon d'Or. He has ended Messi, Ronaldo, and well, the Messi and Ronaldo just dominance that lasted a decade. So, our Lord and Saviour Leighton Baines, what's he achieved? I mean, to be fair, they won a World Cup, didn't they? But even so, I mean, I don't know what to say, everyone. I'm very confused. Please send help. Who finished runner-up in these other years? So Ronaldo and Suarez, Di Maria and Messi, Suarez again, Hazard, Ribéry. Nothing too odd there. Then Leighton Baines just pops up out of nowhere. What about the World Player of the Year? He won it. He won the World Player of the Year as well. So it doesn't even matter which we were concerned about. I don't know what to say. There's some weird stuff. I'm sure there's more weird stuff that I've missed. Right, World Team of the Years. Let's go from 2015, well, 2014 onwards, I guess, because this would have been the first half of the year. So, year one, I mean, that's a team of players that I look at and go, yeah, they were good in their day. Of course, this was only less than 6 months actually after the save game started. 2015, anyone particularly odd there? Maybe Juan Mata? Baines, sorry, was Leighton Baines a god in FM15 and I don't remember? Maybe Leighton Baines is just the best player ever. There's also the players on the bench here that you can see. 2016, he's still there. He's just going to be there for the whole thing. Aaron Ramsey of Arsenal, who is still at Arsenal as well. Oh, it's going to reset every time I click on a profile. You can see Messi, Coutinho. Where is Ronaldo in this? He's on the bench. He couldn't dislodge Aguero, apparently. Courtois on the bench as well. Why isn't Muslera, the Uruguayan goalkeeper, I want to say Galatasaray there? I mean, fair play to him. He got a very good average rating for a goalkeeper in Football Manager. 2017, he's there again. Where's Leighton Baines? He's gone. He's gone missing for a year. But you can see the rest of the team here. I mean, 2017's Team of the Year? Van Ginkel, I guess, is the odd one out. The rest of players who, and Muslera, but the rest of kind of players who you go, yeah, in real life, they probably were up there in kind of the top 50 players. Maybe not necessarily the best 11, but Football Manager wasn't a world away. And then for the most recent year that we have, Isco in there, Pogba, Eriksen for City. That doesn't feel right, but it could happen in real life. Leighton Baines, Sacco at Liverpool. I mean, to be fair, he's quite good in Football Manager 2015. Matt Ryan as well. Never went to Brighton, went to Dortmund and got in the World Team of the Year. And then the best across all seasons, I mean, Leighton Baines, you are the world's greatest left-back, and I am never going to question you ever again. I'm very conflicted and confused. You can see here some of the other players in this list. Oxlade-Chamberlain, Sterling. It's a little bit bizarre, isn't it? Let's have a look at the world transfers. Can we look at all transfers for all years? I feel like there should be a way to do this unless it changed. I want to look at the kind of transfers that have happened all time. Leading transfers? Is this the right thing to hit? Yes, leading transfers. This is the biggest transfer dealings that happened. Man, it's crazy how different money was in football even 5 years ago. The fact that FM15, the biggest transfer fee it thought would be paid in the next 5 years would be less than 50 million. That's how nuts money has become in football. You can see here, though, the players. Varane going to PSG. PSG and Man City, the big spenders. Liverpool spending pretty good big money as well on a few players. I'm going to scroll through here. You can pick out some players. Zivkovic. He's still around. He's not as good as he is in this FM in real life, if I'm not mistaken. You can see here the rest of the players that make up the big transfers. I'm trying to see if there's any here that really surprise me. I'm half expecting Leighton Baines to pop up, but it isn't popping up. But yeah, the biggest transfer was Florenzi, who is now at Manchester United. So clearly that big move at PSG didn't really work out. They sold him on for about half what they bought him for. Varane we've looked at. Busquets. How old was Busquets when they signed him? Okay, they signed him nearly straight away, so he isn't too old. For some reason I thought Sergio Busquets was older than 31. I don't mean that in an offensive way, it just feels like he's been around forever. I think it's because of the likes of Xavi and Iniesta are players who I would put him in the same age range as, and they've obviously moved on with their lives outside of football. Anyway, Club World Championship. This is how we'll end things. Who wins it in 2019? It's Real Madrid. I mean, Liverpool, please wait. They took on Cruz Azul. What about in the semi-finals? I mean, Boca got beaten 7-0. That feels a tiny bit unrealistic, Football Manager 2015. Maybe they should patch that. But yeah, you can see the past winners, unsurprisingly dominated by European teams. Chelsea, basically whoever won the Champions League tended to win it. Which isn't entirely surprising, is it, in truth? Man, I feel like there's definitely stuff I've missed here. And as I said, I will provide the save game down in the description for you guys to check out. So if you do have FM15 and you want to load this up and have a poke around, maybe you'll spot stuff that I've missed. It's a wild ride and there's very weird stuff happened. And in some ways I'm heartbroken about the fact that England didn't win a World Cup and Leighton Baines didn't win the Ballon d'Or. In other ways I am heartbroken by the fact that Bolton did go into administration. And Football Manager knew it was going to happen. That's weird. Illuminati confirmed? I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, I don't think there's a way I can actually search through players here, unfortunately. Maybe we could do that another time. If people are like, I want to see more, let me know what you would like to see and maybe we'll revisit this save and have a look at what it might have predicted sometime in the new year. But yeah, this was just a fun little trip down memory lane. I thought it'd be funny just to have a poke around, have a wave of nostalgia, just see how different the world of football would look at this point, according to a Football Manager from a few years ago. On the channel, we have done videos like this before. FM 2010 predicts how FM 2020 would look. That was a fun one. Obviously, we have loads of simulates going on the channel as well. So if it's your first time here, or maybe you've got to the end of this video and you haven't seen some of the other stuff, do go and check it out on the channel. I do also want to say a massive thank you to you for watching. If you've got until the end of the video, because I want to know, who's here to the end, who's still listening to me talk 45 minutes in, let me know your favourite pizza down in the comments. Mine is probably barbecue. Just let me know. Don't explain it to anyone. If anyone goes, why are people writing about their favourite pizzas? They've not watched to the end. They're excluded from the conversation and they should know better. But yeah, that's going to be all from me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Something different. A little bit of fun. Leighton Baines, Ballon d'Or winner. I think that says it all. I'll see you guys soon.